forest had a heartbeat. Faint, steady, menacing. Locals called it Smiley Face Forest. They knew its secrets, or they thought they did. Towering pines stood like silent sentinels, their needles whispering tales of the darkness within. A place where sunlight struggled to penetrate, where shadows danced alive with secrets. For generations, the forest had claimed its victims, hikers, campers, dreamers. Each disappearance, shrouded in mystery, only deepened the forest's sinister legend. The air itself felt heavy, thick with the weight of countless untold stories. Stories whispered on the wind. Stories etched into the bark of ancient trees. Stories the forest refused to forget. Legends whispered of a malevolent entity that resided within the forest, a being that lured unsuspecting souls astray. Some said it was the spirit of a vengeful logger, his soul forever bound to the trees he felled. Others spoke of a creature of shadow and mist, its eyes glowing with an unnatural light. The stories varied, but the fear remained the same, a primal fear that whispered of ancient magic, a darkness that clung to the trees, seeping into the very air one breathed, a darkness that watched, that waited, and sometimes it claimed those foolish enough to ignore its warnings. They were young, carefree, oblivious to the darkness that awaited them. The forest seemed like an adventure, a place to explore and create memories. 5 teenagers, their laughter echoing through the trees, their backpacks laden with supplies for a weekend adventure. They had no idea what lay ahead, only the thrill of the unknown. They were the embodiment of youthful optimism, their smiles as bright as the summer sun that filtered through the canopy. The forest was their playground, a place where worries seemed to vanish. There was Emily, the leader, her determination masked by her infectious laugh. She was the glue that held the group together, always ready with a plan. Ben, the quiet one, his camera capturing every moment of their journey. Through his lens, he saw the world differently, finding beauty in the shadows. Chris, the joker, his jokes sometimes masking a deeper insecurity. He used humor to hide his fears, always the life of the party. Olivia, the dreamer, her eyes wide with wonder at the beauty of the natural world. She saw magic in the mundane, always lost in her thoughts. And then there was Daniel, the athlete, his confidence radiating outward, masking a vulnerability he tried hard to conceal. He was strong, yet sensitive, always pushing himself to be better. Command, currently the VO is 200 words long. They entered the forest on a Friday afternoon. The sun was high, casting long shadows that danced and shifted with the breeze. The air was filled with the scent of pine and the distant hum of insects, creating a serene yet mysterious atmosphere. They snapped photos, their laughter echoing through the trees. They shared stories, their voices a comforting counterpoint to the rustle of leaves and the chirping of birds. The forest seemed alive, almost welcoming, as if it were an old friend they were visiting. They followed the trail, their backpacks growing heavier with each passing hour. As the sun began its descent, casting an orange glow over the forest floor, the teenagers decided to set up camp. The sky turned from blue to shades of pink and purple, painting a picturesque backdrop. They found a clearing, a small patch of sunlight in the ever-growing gloom. They pitched their tents, their laughter echoing in the stillness. The clearing felt like a safe haven amidst the towering trees, a brief respite from the encroaching darkness. They were oblivious to the eyes that watched them from the shadows, oblivious to the darkness that was closing in. As night fell, the forest transformed. The once comforting sounds now seemed eerie and foreboding. The teenagers, still unaware, continued to enjoy their evening, unaware of the sinister presence lurking just beyond their sight. Section 5, The Silence After. Sunday evening arrived. Silence. The forest held its breath. No sign of the teenagers. No sound of their laughter. The forest had swallowed them whole. Their families waited. hope fading with the setting sun. The authorities were called. The search began. The forest, once a place of beauty and wonder, was now a crime scene. Yellow tape fluttered in the breeze, a stark reminder of the fragility of life. Footprints leading deeper into the woods ended abruptly, as if they had simply vanished into thin air. The forest held its secrets close. Section 6. The search begins. Hope fades with the light. Days bled into nights. The search continued. Volunteers combed the forest floor. Dogs sniffed the air, their barks echoing through the trees. Helicopters buzzed overhead, their searchlights cutting through the darkness. But the forest remained unyielding. It refused to give up its prey. The teenagers' faces stared out from missing person posters plastered on telephone poles and shop windows. Their smiles, once so full of life, now seemed to mock their families' anguish. The forest had taken them, but it had left behind an even greater torment, uncertainty. Section 7, the footage, 20 minutes of terror. Then came the discovery that sent chills down the spines of even the most seasoned investigators. It was a find that would haunt them for years to come. Ben's camera, discovered hanging from a branch, its lens partially obscured by a spider web, 20 minutes of footage that would reveal more than anyone could have imagined. 20 minutes that hinted at the horror that had unfolded, a horror that was almost too much to bear. The footage began innocently enough, just a group of friends enjoying a night in the forest. The teenagers were laughing, their faces illuminated by the warm glow of the campfire. They had no idea what was about to happen. But as the footage progressed, the mood shifted. The laughter died down, replaced by an eerie silence. Their faces took on a look of growing unease. They sensed something was wrong, something lurking in the darkness. The camera shook as if Ben was running. The fear in his movements was palpable. Then, in the final seconds of the footage, a glimpse of something terrifying. Something that defied explanation. A figure, tall, unnatural. It stood there, almost as if it was waiting, its face hidden in the shadows. Then, darkness. The footage ended, leaving more questions than answers. Section 8. A chilling discovery. The Smiley Face Tree. Deeper into the forest, a chilling discovery. A tree, its trunk scarred with a dozen crudely carved smiley faces. Below the largest face, a pile of rocks arranged in a spiral pattern. An offering? A warning? The locals called it the Smiley Face Tree. They whispered of its connection to the disappearances. They spoke of rituals, of sacrifices. The police dismissed it as a prank, but the forest held its breath. It knew the truth. Section 9. Local legends, whispers of the past. The legend of the Smiley Face Forest stretched back generations. Whispers of a vengeful spirit guarding the forest from intruders. Tales of hikers vanishing without a trace, their screams swallowed by the trees. The stories were dismissed as folklore. Until now. Local historians spoke of an ancient burial ground, long forgotten, hidden deep within the forest. They spoke of a tribe of Native Americans, their land stolen, their spirits restless. The forest remembered. It held their pain, their anger, their thirst for revenge. Section 10. Unsolved, Unexplained, Unforgotten. The case went cold. The teenagers were never found. The forest kept its secrets. The Smiley Face Forest became a place of pilgrimage for those seeking answers, for those drawn to the darkness, for those who refused to let the mystery die. Was it a tragic accident? A case of getting lost in the vast wilderness? Or was there something more sinister at play? Something ancient? Something evil? The forest wasn't talking. Section 11. The forest still holds its secrets. The forest stands silent, a living monument to the missing teenagers. Their laughter, once so full of life, now only echoes in the memories of those who loved them. The Smiley Face Forest has claimed its victims, but it has not claimed victory. For the truth, like a seed buried deep within the earth, waits to be unearthed. The forest holds its breath, waiting, watching. Its secrets remain, unsolved, unexplained, Unforgotten.